Okay, guys, trader worth the risk here with the crypto collective. It's currently the 18th of May at 5:30 a.m. in the morning here in Australia, and I'm thinking we're coming to a pretty important point in the price action on Bitcoin. So, just going to give an overview on are we going to go any lower here? Is the bottom in, or are we going to go deeper? So. If you've been paying attention to the posts I've been sharing on in Discord, Twitter, and on the Crypto Collective Facebook, the other day I posted these two charts. This was a Bitcoin chart, so we had the redistribution pattern, which is down here, and then I was saying that it was very similar to April's price action, which was like a leg down, and then we went sideways, and then we had another leg down. And on Ethereum, we had another pattern, which is a Wyckoff distribution. So in April, we had something that looked almost identical to the current price action as of 2 days ago. And we had the Wyckoff distribution schematic. So both of them are looking quite bearish. And I know a lot of people were getting long, but I just had this gut feeling that it wasn't, the bottom wasn't in yet, and we ended up seeing this pretty large dump. So I've got this was the Bitcoin idea. So it played out pretty perfectly. We dropped almost about $8,000 from there or so, and then we had the Ethereum idea, and we dropped around 17% or so from that. So a lot of people have been asking me how I've like picked this. Well, it's pretty simple. For me, it's pretty simple, I should say. I trade a lot in Wyckoff Method, and I look a lot at market phases. So you can see a really simple graphic here. The market trend, it starts with accumulation. Then accumulation leads to reaccumulation, which is like an up move, then another kind of sideways movement before another up move. And in a bull market, you just get reaccumulation after reaccumulation, and at the end of the bull market, you're going to get distribution. That's going to lead to markdown, and then you have a down movement, and it goes sideways, and then you have another down movement. And just like the bull market has reaccumulation, the bear market can have redistribution. So why is this important? Well, if you look at this really simple chart, so over here, which where I've circled is the 21st of April. And that's actually the picture on the bottom left here I've showed you guys. So as you can see on the 21st of April, we did almost exactly what we did here. So I've actually got, this is the 21st of April. And if you saw the image I showed you before, it was looking almost identical. So that was my main reason. I actually went bearish here. And, you know, the Wyckoff distribution, it's really simple. We have the selling climax, it ends here. We come up, we create a resistance level. And as you can see, we poke out of the resistance like 2 times. But in between those 2 times, we're kind of respecting that first level we created. So the first level creates uh, the trap. So the resistance here, we break out, people get long. All the people getting long creates enough liquidity for these buy orders to fill. Eventually, we keep closing underneath this resistance, and that leads to the sign of weakness, which is when we lose the support. So it's showing us a bit of weakness, and then that comes up to the last point of supply, which is usually around here. Like this is last point of supply because we came down from here and here and here. So before we started the aggressive downtrend, the last point of supply is the test of this selling area before we go down. And then if this is a real redistribution, every time we have a retracement, we should come and reject off this last supply area as we did right here. So that was on the 21st of April. That led to this idea, which just dropped around $8,000 or so. So then on the 21st of April, after we did that, we actually made a really quick kind of bottom here, almost like a double bottom. And just like here, we made the redistribution. We've come back down. We don't know if we're going to bottom just yet, but we're bouncing off a pretty interesting spot, I'd say. So this was the previous high here, and we also have a little bit of support around here. So the fact that we're starting to get above there is definitely a positive sign for the short term. If we can close like this with this nice double bottom, then maybe we're going to get the buyers are going to be in control again for the short term. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, I posted this in on April the 27th, and it's a little bit messy, but if you go onto my trading view worth the risk, and you scroll down a bit, this is my original Bitcoin plan. So on the 27th of April, I said that we were going to come up here and reject, and potentially that was going to be the bottom that leads to a liquidity grab. Or if that doesn't bottom there, we're going to go down to 32,000. So let's see how that went. So, it played out exactly how I was wanting it to. I started risking down a bit on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I still held a lot of altcoins in the past couple of weeks, but I could see Bitcoin was coming down. So I started to reduce my futures long trades and stuff like that because I was seeing a potential bearish pattern. So I'll just bring it up. So Elon Musk has been tweeting quite a lot, and he's caused quite a bit of havoc in the market. I know a lot of people are saying like fuck Elon Musk and all this stuff, but I think people that say stuff like this, it's really stupid because Elon Musk basically started this massive move from 30,000. So you're saying fuck him, but Bitcoin probably wouldn't be this high if it wasn't for him. So I think it's pretty stupid for people to say. Elon is just trading and playing the charts just like any other trader. So if if you lost money and you're saying fuck Elon, I think you should take a look at yourself and ask yourself where you went wrong and why you're losing money. So this is a distribution pattern. So as I showed you in this diagram, we have distribution at the top of the market cycle. I'm just going to pull up one more image quickly. So this is the Discord server, Crypto Collective. If you want access to all of my charts and stuff like that, before I post a lot of charts publicly, but there's a lot that I don't. So if you want full access to my charts, make sure you join the Discord server. I'm going to post a link in the bottom description in the bottom of the video, and there's a 2-week trial available for those who are interested. Okay, so this was as I showed you my Bitcoin trading plan here. So I was expecting us to reject up here and then come down here for a potential buy-in. But little did I know at the time that Elon Musk was going to be the one that was creating the right shoulder of this kind of ugly head and shoulders pattern. So this is a Wyckoff distribution schematic number 2, Wyckoff phases and events. As you can see, it's give a real simple explanation. We make the sideways range, we go sideways in between the two red areas, and eventually we create the resistance, we poke out of the resistance, and on this particular Wyckoff distribution, when we come back up to this resistance area up here, we actually reject and then come down, and we have one more rejection before the breakout underneath support. Now, this pattern is meant to be the end of a market trend. I don't actually believe that this is the end of Bitcoin's bull trend, but I think it's been a really good opportunity for these large players to drop down the price, especially with Elon playing ball as well, to another support level for potential buy-in. So this was the pattern. I'll show you again. And as you can see, we've got BC buying climax, which is where the trend ends. The upwards thrust UT, is where it goes above the trend. And then LPSY is the last point of supply where it rejects from this first resistance area we created. So as you can see, that idea played out really well. But the interesting thing about this is that Elon Musk actually tweeted at the top of this candle, and I believe this was the tweets on the 13th of May. So Elon Musk actually tweeted right at the top of this Wyckoff pattern LPSY, which is really interesting. I don't think that's a coincidence. And why don't I think that's a coincidence? Well, if you look at my other, if you look at my most recent idea, the redistribution idea, which is what I posted here, we also have, I have another graphic here. So this is the Wyckoff redistribution schematic. And as you can see, we create a resistance and we poke out of it 2 times with a few tests in between. And then we have, just like the distribution, we come back up and we reject off that kind of initial resistance area. So on this idea, you can see we created a resistance, we poked out 2 times, we come back to there, and we bounce down here, and then right at this moment over here, at 49,000 or so, Elon Musk, he actually commented right here on this Twitter post from Mr. Whale. Mr. Whale said Bitcoin is going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out Tesla dumped the rest of their Bitcoin holdings. And all Elon Musk did was comment indeed. And that was right at that LPSY point, and that became the next down move. So far, he's managed to tweet in 2 really important parts. And he also made another tweet saying that Tesla has not sold any Bitcoin right at 42,000 or so. I'm not going to look that up because I want to get on with the video. And it's not that important, but my main point is that it's not that look at Elon's tweets to know when to buy and sell. It's that Elon is moving the market. Elon is controlling the market. So it's very likely that, considering we are bouncing from this previous high, and we are also painting this double bottom, just like we painted a double bottom here, I think in the short term, Bitcoin is definitely going to go up here. The warning sign for me is if we lose 42,000, we can go to our monthly chart. I'm going to close some of these levels. We go to our monthly chart. We've got a few support and resistance levels. So if we lose this support here at 42,000, I think it's extremely likely we're going to go down to 33. Tesla actually brought Bitcoin around here where I circled. So if we lose this support, that's going to be a very, very important area. It's very likely that there's going to be buyers waiting there, because that's where this was definitely a historic part of Bitcoin when it broke out of 20K, but I think it got a lot more attention when it come up here. So this is definitely going to be an important place to bounce if we don't hold there. What my basic plan for now is just to be, I'm keeping it really simple at the moment. I've brought back in some Bitcoin here. I've got long again. And, you can see we've got this area up here. We've had 1, 2, and 3 bounces, and then we lost the support. And we also have this really important area up here. Now, the reason I say this is important is because this is the rejection before Elon Musk started tweeting. So it started here. This was the second tweet here. So you can treat those levels as support levels as well, just like so. If we get up above here, and then we bounce a 49K or so, and then we get back above here where we had 3 bounces, that's going to be the next sign. And then if this is my prediction for now. That's what I believe we're going to do for now, as long as we don't lose 42,000. If we get back inside of 52,400, then we got to watch out for a bounce. And then if we reject off here, this is where it's going to get to a bit of a dangerous area, because we've got this resistance that's up here. And if we reject off there, there could be potentially sellers waiting. We never know. Elon could be waiting to tweet again. If he sold here, it's not like a ridiculous thing to believe that he might sell. He won't sell again there. So that is 57K to 57,800. And that is what I'm going to be watching for now. If we reject off there, definitely going to want to take some caution. And then we're going to watch for a bounce here. And then that's going to be very similar to a reaccumulation. I'm not going to call it a reaccumulation because, as you can see in reaccumulation, we have an upwards move before that. So we don't have no upwards move. This whole thing is like what in between a down move. So I definitely wouldn't call that reaccumulation. We could just a second. We could have an accumulation down here, like so, and that could be the bottom as well. So accumulation. This is definitely an accumulation here. You can see we kind of just move sideways before we start to uptrend. And then we have a reaccumulation here. This is also a reaccumulation. This is a reaccumulation. And then we have the distribution. And, this is a very large distribution as well. So that's my plan. If we bounce at 42K, we just mark out our respective monthly and weekly levels. And then we're looking for the price to get above each one. Excuse me. But the most significant level to me is going to be, at least when we get up here, is 53,300, because we have a clear and defined support area there. If we get above there and bounce, it's definitely going to be a positive sign. And then 57K or so, we're going to need to get above there and bounce off there. And I think once we do that, we bounced over here as well. And, a few little bounces here, that could potentially come to a really nice support area if we get up there. So that's just the update for now for me on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at some other stuff. So just like I showed you the distribution schematic before, we had something kind of similar happen on Ethereum. It's really simple. We create a support, we create a resistance. We do a few tests of the resistance in between, but we have a fake out above that resistance. And then the second time it comes back, we have the rejection. And then the last point of supply comes from this sell area here. Sometimes last point of supply can go as high as here as well. But on this particular example, it almost looked like an ugly version of a head and shoulders. So a distribution can form a head and shoulders. Now, it's a pretty similar idea with Ethereum. We have a little area down here. We also have one here. And then we've got this main area here. Just to give it a rough kind of chart, this isn't really difficult stuff. Most people, if you're going to trade, you should be able to draw and identify your levels pretty easily. So that looks, as a basic kind of chart, that looks pretty good to me. So Ethereum, will have to come back above 3,500 and bounce off this. You can see that was such an important area here. We'll have to get back above there. If we do, we've also got two bounces here. So I think a lot of buyers will start to come in. And then it's just a matter of seeing if we get back above this area here. Because you can see we've started to increase a few times from there. That is 38,000. Yeah, sorry, not 38,000. That's 3,800, 3,800, 3,860. So that's just a rough update on Ethereum. Same thing, if we lose that support here at 3,100, Ethereum's probably going to have a serious dump, but it looks like it could be the bottom here. So we also have the Fibonacci tool bouncing right off the 0.5 Fibonacci. If we lose that, then 2900 is going to be a key support. So let's look at the rest of the market quickly. Let's load a different layout. So yeah, it's Bitcoin. It doesn't look if you go on the higher time frames, it doesn't look the greatest, but we still have a bit of time, 14 days to the monthly close and 6 days to the weekly. So anything can change really fast in this market. Now, as I said, if we do lose this support area, just to add one last thing to the Bitcoin update, we're probably going to dump down here. If that happens, the next thing we're going to watch for is like a massive kind of bull flag pattern like so. That's going to be the next best option, I'd say. So yeah, now that we know what's going on with Bitcoin, let's have a look at the alts. This is the others.d. So this is the dominance of altcoins in the market. So right now, altcoins have around 15.5% of the market. As you can see, we're the highest we've been in 3 years. So while the others.d stays above 12.5%, I think altcoins are generally going to do okay. If it loses that area, it's going to be a warning sign, but it's not that we have to use it in combination with other stuff as well. So this is the crypto total market cap. So this is the amount of money in crypto excluding Bitcoin. This is total two. So as you can see, the total two, although we started to lose a bit of money from the rest of the market, we bounced off this kind of area that was over here. And we also bounced from this area here. So it's pretty similar to others.d. While we're above $1.10 trillion in the market cap of the rest of the market, I think it's safe to assume short term we are definitely bullish. We also have the Bitcoin dominance. So the Bitcoin dominance is very useful because it gives us a representation of how much percent of the market Bitcoin controls. Bitcoin dominance is at 40%. That means right now, out of all crypto, Bitcoin, 40% of all the money in crypto is in Bitcoin. So if that drops, that means that more money is going into other things like altcoins or potentially USDT. And if it rises, it means money is flowing out of other things and going into Bitcoin. So as you can see, we are right on this kind of support area here. So that is definitely not a good sign. As a general rule of thumb, if Bitcoin dominance starts to rise dramatically, it's altcoins are usually going to take a pullback. But you never know. It can rise and then it can rise like so and then get rejected and just keep going down. We don't know what's going to happen. But we have this area up here. So I've got warning area 1 month. So in 2018, when we lost that area on the Bitcoin dominance, we actually had a bit of a mini alt season. So if we bounce now and come back up to there and we reject, that's going to be a good sign. If we bounce now and get back above here, 44% is going to be a bit of a warning sign because we have a gap here. So that all the gap means is that in this moment, so much money left Bitcoin that the dominance dropped so fast when the candle closed, it left a gap. So it just meant that was a really strong moment in the market. And let's have a zoom out a bit. Let's have a look. So yeah, as you can see in 2017, when we lost the 67%, that started a really crazy alt season. We've dropped, it's really, really similar what we've done. Very similar. We've dropped all the way down, and now we're starting to reach the kind of two support areas at 40% and 35% for Bitcoin dominance. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on as well. One last thing I want to cover is, now there's a lot of talk about this narrative for the energy of Bitcoin. Now, every market, like whether it's a bear market or a bull market, there's always a narrative, right? Now, what I'm trying to say is there's always a topic that drives yeah, it drives excitement or fear into the market. Now, in this current topic right now is that Bitcoin is not energy efficient. So I just want to play, just to finish the video, a clip from Michael Saylor, and he talks about the Bitcoin environmental argument. So yeah, just a really, I didn't want to play the whole video. It goes for 8 minutes. So I'm going to link it in the description as well, with the information for our Discord server if you're interested in joining. So that Michael Saylor, who owns MicroStrategy and is one of the most prolific buyers of Bitcoin, just explains how that that it's it's not truth that Bitcoin is not good for the environment, and this is solely big players trying to drive the price down. So my to finish the video, my last point is that the narrative and these kind of news topics, or kind of trending topics that drive the market to excitement or fear, a lot of the time they're just purposefully put out there just to make you panic, or to get you excited. So make sure if you hear stuff like this, you do your research properly and look into it, and don't believe the first things you see. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure you give it a like, and hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified when I post more. I've got a lot of stuff coming up for you guys. I'm going to do an in-depth analysis on altcoins coming in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. Thank you.